Beneath the gleaming surface of Japan's $20 billion island airport, the ground is giving way, nearly 12 meters lost to the sea in just a decade, and still sinking. Unstoppable. This was not a mistake, it was a triumph now slipping into crisis. How did the world's boldest engineering dream become a slow-motion disaster, and why can no one stop what is coming next? In the late 1980s, Japan set out to build something the world had never seen. A gateway to the future, rising from the waters of Osaka Bay. The vision was audacious, a dream, a full-scale international airport, not on land, but on an island made entirely by human hands, and the site would be 10 kilometers offshore, far from crowded neighborhoods and city limits, promising round-the-clock flights without disturbing a single resident. To make this possible, engineers hauled in over 40 million cubic meters of rock and sand, sculpting the seabed into a pair of artificial islands. The project demanded a workforce of thousands, fleets of dredgers, and a budget that would ultimately reach $20 billion. At its heart stood a terminal designed by Renzo Piano. Its sweeping steel arcs and glass walls meant to evoke the wings of a bird in flight. The opening in 1994 was a moment of national pride. Kansai International Airport was the world's first airport built entirely offshore, a symbol of Japan's engineering prowess and economic ambition. With its runways stretching over the water and terminal gleaming in the morning sun, it seemed to float between sea and sky, untouched by the problems of the mainland. Every detail spoke of confidence, the scale, the technology, the sheer determination to claim new land from the ocean. In this place, ambition felt limitless. The boundaries between city and sea, nature and machine, had been redrawn. But beneath the celebration, the weight of this achievement pressed down on ground that was never truly solid. Beneath the gleaming runways and glass walls, Kansai's foundation tells a different story, one hidden from view, but impossible to ignore. The airport rests on layer after layer of marine clay, a substance shaped by thousands of years of tides and silt. This clay does not behave like rock or sand. It compresses, shifting and settling under pressure, acting more like a sponge than a solid base. When the first loads of fill were poured into Osaka Bay, engineers knew the ground would move. Their models predicted that the islands would sink between 5.7 and 8 meters over half a century, a slow descent they believed they could control. To speed up the settling and strengthen the ground, workers drove over 2 million vertical sand drains deep into the seabed. Each drain, almost half a meter wide, created a path for trapped water to escape, helping the clay beneath to compress more quickly and evenly. The idea was simple. By squeezing out the water before construction finished, the worst of the sinking would happen early, buying decades of stability for the airport above. Engineers watched the gauges and settlement markers, confident their calculations would hold. The vast network of drains, stretching from the surface down through the Holocene and into the Pleistocene clays, was their answer to nature's unpredictability. The forecasts seemed reasonable. The structure would settle, but only as much as planned. In their eyes, the risks were understood, the ground tamed. At least that was the promise on paper. The first months after opening, engineers tracked every millimeter of the airport's descent. Instruments lined the runways and terminal foundations, quietly feeding numbers into control rooms day and night. What those numbers revealed was not just movement, but acceleration, an unsettling mismatch between prediction and reality. By 1999, the island had already dropped 8.2 meters, more than half of the total sinking that engineers had expected over 50 years. Within a single decade, Kansai lost nearly 12 meters in elevation. Gauges that should have shown a slow, manageable decline instead traced a sharp plunge. The cause was buried deep below the surface. The clay layers, tested in laboratories and modeled on computers, proved far more unpredictable under the immense weight of the reclaimed land. Water squeezed from the soil faster than anticipated, but the deepest layers, Pleistocene clays hundreds of meters down, responded in ways no small-scale test could capture. The ground beneath Kansai was behaving like a sponge, wrung out too quickly, collapsing in on itself under pressure. Inside the airport's monitoring rooms, the mood shifted from pride to anxiety. Each new data point forced a reckoning with the scale of the problem. The instruments, once a reassurance, now served as a warning system. The gap between theory and reality grew impossible to ignore. Engineers realized they were not guiding the island to stability. They were watching it slip away, meter by meter, as the limits of their models became clear. The gamble had failed. The sinking was no longer a theory, it was a crisis unfolding in real time. Rows of industrial pumps churned day and night, forcing seawater away from the foundations. Beneath the terminal, a hidden army of 900 hydraulic jacks stands ready, each one able to lift or lower a section of the building by millimeters at a time. Maintenance crews move through narrow corridors and concrete vaults, their work measured in alarms and pressure readings more than in hours or days. Every adjustment is a race against the slow, relentless drop of the island. On stormy nights, the sound of machinery never stops. Typhoon Jebi in 2018 sent seawater crashing over the seawalls, flooding runways and terminals, leaving thousands stranded until the pumps could catch up. Even in calm weather, the fight continues, removing water, reinforcing columns, resurfacing runways. There is no final fix, only the next adjustment. This is not routine upkeep, it is an endless, grinding battle to keep the airport above the waves, with every day's survival owed to the engineers and machines holding back the sea. If you find these hidden battles behind the world's megastructures as fascinating as we do, consider subscribing. Every adjustment beneath Kansai International Airport comes with a staggering price tag. The struggle to keep the airport above water has become a financial vortex, drawing in more than $150 million so far for emergency measures, pumping, jacking, and reinforcing the seawalls. For every centimeter the island sinks, millions of dollars are spent to lift runways, raise terminal floors, and shore up defenses against the ocean. The cost is not a one-time expense, but a relentless drain, an open tab that grows with every passing year. Budget officials face a dilemma with no end in sight. Pay whatever it takes to keep the airport operational or risk losing a critical piece of infrastructure to the sea. Each year, maintenance budgets are rewritten to account for new settlement data and fresh damage from storms. There is no line item for solved. The airport's survival depends on a permanent flow of money, with every dollar spent buying only a brief pause before the next crisis. The arithmetic is simple and unforgiving. The deeper the airport sinks, the more it costs to keep it afloat. Independent engineers now study Kansai's future not in years, but in centimeters. Projections show that if the current pace continues, parts of the airport's first island could meet the surface of the bay between 2056 and 2067. Sea level rise models only add to the uncertainty. The numbers are not predictions, they are warnings, calculated from gauges embedded deep in the clay and from satellite measurements that chart the island's slow descent. No matter how many jacks are adjusted or seawalls are raised, the settlement cannot be reversed. Global experts point to Kansai as more than a local crisis. In Hong Kong, Czech Lapkok Airport stands on its own reclaimed island, stabilized by aggressive preloading and deep cement mixing. There, settlement slowed to less than a centimeter per year. But even with these precautions, engineers remain vigilant, watching for signs of renewed movement as sea levels climb. Around the world, every new coastal megaproject now consults Kansai's data. The lesson is clear. Artificial islands built on soft marine clay face a deadline imposed by physics, not by planners. The horizon is inevitable, and it is sinking. Today, engineers fight to keep Kansai Airport above water, while the sea and the subsiding earth never pause. As storms intensify and sea levels rise, this struggle grows more urgent. Ambition built it, but physics decides its fate. Nature always collects. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts below.